Okay, everybody. So this is the video for Lab 10B, which is similar to the Lab 9B that we did last week, except that this is much easier. So last week, if you remember, in Lab 9B, we were doing collision detection between two boxes, and that was tough because I didn't just give you the formula, which is probably what I should have done. Nevertheless, this will be pretty straightforward. So steps are basically the same. So I'm going to copy all this code here. And I'm copying all this code, and then we will go over into Eclipse and get started. Okay, so what do we need to do? So in Eclipse, let's just close this. What we'll need to do is create a project for Lab 10B. So I'll just go File, New, Java Project. I can name this whatever I want, but I'll call it Lab 10B. Now, inside of Lab 10B, I need to create a class. So I expand it over here. I'll click on SRC, right click, and do a new class. Just like last time, to make your life easier, you should name your class main with a capital M. And that's what we'll do, capital M main. It doesn't matter what else you check in here, I don't think. We don't have to check the top box anyway. And we'll get this. Now, the point of this is that I can delete everything in here, and that code that I just copied, I can paste. So this is the code from Lab 10B that I just copy pasted from here. So it says write a program with the following code and verify that it works. If you name your class main, then this should just run. So let's see what happens. So I'm going to go run, run. All right. So we just have a box in the middle of a window. Left, right, up, down. All of this works for moving our little box around the screen. Now, what you can see in here, and this has been true in the previous similar examples, is that if this box goes off the screen, it's gone. Now, it's not gone forever because I moved it to the left. If I move it to the right for a while, it'll come back. There it is. And if I move it off the right edge of the screen for a while, I'll be able to come back here and press left and make it come back. So it can leave the screen, but you can make it come back on the screen. And that's just because, the position of the box is just in integers, right? There's an integer for the upper left corner of this box. And, and the bounds are 0 through 800 for X and 0, 600 for Y. So, if the box was over at 1000, 1000, that'd be, somewhere down here where you can't see it. But even though you can't see it, it's still there. And in fact, I don't know if this is resizable. Let's find out. If I move the box off the page like this, and then I go to the window, I can resize it. Oh, look, there it is. There's our box, right? So I can, try to hide the box over here. Actually, I don't think we can do anything about that. I don't think we can resize it that way. So if it goes off the left, it's lost. But if it goes out the right side or down, then we should be able to change the box size and kind of find it. There it is. Um, anyway, that is not the point. The point is, right now, the box can leave the screen. And in a lot of games, things like that, you don't want the box to be able to leave the screen like that. So we would like to do something about it. So if you go back here and we look at the lab, we'll scroll down and it says modify the code to do the following. Problem one, screen wrapping. Modify the logic in update position. So we'll go find that. So that if the box moves off the left side of the screen, it wraps around to the right side. Do the same for top to bottom. So it says hint. Hint, check if X is less than 0 or greater than width. Reset it accordingly. Okay, what does that mean? So if we look in here, there's a lot of code, but if we find this update position that they're talking about, we find it right here, private void update position. And right now, what does this code do? This is the code that moves the box up or down or left or right. And so what we want to do is after this if statement for the right, just kind of put some blank lines in here. Notice that the closing brace here is what actually closes this update position. So we want to be inside of the update position code, but so we want to be above this curly brace, but below this curly brace. And what we want to do here is let's put code for screen wrapping. So what does that mean? Well, here's what it means. What I want to have happen is if the box moves like this off to the left, when it leaves the left side of the screen, I would like it to appear over here on the right-hand screen side of the screen. And that's actually really easy. It's actually really easy because we just need to know the X values of the left edge of the screen and the right edge of the screen. Because over here, the left edge is 0. So we can check if the X value for the rectangle, which up here I can see that we're just using X and Y. So when the X value of the rectangle, if it's less than 0, if the X value is less than 0, that means that the box has moved off screen because X equals 0 is the left edge. So X less than 0 is over here somewhere to the left of the screen. And so if X is less than 0, that means we moved off the side of the screen. So what do we want to do if you move off the left edge of the screen? Well, I said if you move off the left edge of the screen, we want to come back on the screen over here. And so when the X value becomes negative, we want the box over here, which is an X value of 800 because the left edge is 0 and the right edge is 800. So if the X value goes negative, let's just set X equal to 800. Let's see what this does. Look at that. When you leave the left edge, you appear on the right edge. Now you can make this slightly better because like, for example, right here, oh, actually we can't move back yet because we haven't done that. But like right here, this is right on the edge. If I move the teeniest bit to the left, then it instantly goes over here. I kind of don't like that. Like I would kind of like it to be able to move like a little more. Like if I press left one more time, it'll disappear and appear over here. I would like the box to be able to move partially off screen to the left. You don't have to do this, but I would like to say if X is not less than 0, let's say like 0 minus the width of the box, which I don't know what it is. It looks like the width of the box is given by this variable called rect size. Now, again, you do not have to do this, but I'll do that and we'll see what this looks like. So now what this allows is now you can see I can move the box partially off screen, and it doesn't wrap now until it actually leaves. Do you have to do that? No, we can just do less than 0. So that was the left edge, right? Well, what about the right edge? Well, the right edge is 800. So if the X value becomes greater than 800, that means you moved to the right. This is not going to do anything yet. Um, Let me run it. Run. So we wrap this way, but it doesn't work out this way. If I go to the right, you see it doesn't wrap. So this edge is 800. So when the box goes greater than 800, that means you're moved to the right. And so when it moves greater than 800, what you can do is you could change the X value to to 0, like that. And now it should be able to wrap if you move to the left or if you move to the right. So that's pretty useful for games. Another thing you could do that works pretty well is if the x becomes less than 0, rather than making it equal to 800, what you could do is you could add 800. That can sometimes look a little more smooth. I guess in this case, it doesn't actually look much different, but sometimes something like that can be a little better. And anyway, once you have this working for left and right, you just want to do it for top and bottom, which is going to be exactly the same code, except that instead of x less than 0, it would be y less than 0. And you wouldn't change it to 800 because the width is 800, but the height is 600, right? Remember, our window is 800 by 600. And the same thing for here. So if the y value becomes greater than 600, then we should set the y value equal to 0. And this should work. Let's try it. So left works, right works, top works, bottom works, right? You press down and to the right, and you can see seems to be working pretty well. Also, it is good to use these variables though. So like the width of the screen is width and the height of the screen is height. And so you could change all of these values. Instead of 800, you could use width and width. And instead of 600, you could use height and height. The advantage to doing this is that if we had kind of a window that could be resized, then what we could do is like our screen wrapping code would still work even if we changed the size of the window. Now, right now, this doesn't actually do anything because these values that are being set for width and height, they're never updated. They're not the real width and height of the rectangle. So what will happen is if you try to make this window bigger, like this, it will screen wrap, but at the wrong time. You'll see it doesn't make it all the way to the edge because it still thinks that the window is 800 by 600. Um, so that doesn't quite work, but it does for the original window size. And if these were the real window width and window height, then everything would be fine. So anyway, that's about it. You can play with this a little bit. Like I said, I think actually it looks slightly better if you change the x less than 0 to less than negative rect size. I think looks a little nicer, or 0 minus rect size. And I think the same is true for the y values, where if instead of less than 0, it's less than 0 minus rect size, something like that. Again, you don't have to do this, but this allows the rectangle to go like partially off screen to this side and then appear over here. And the left and right side will look the same as far as that goes. And the same thing for the top and bottom. Oh, actually, it magically pops into existence here. So don't like that. Does it do the same this side? Yeah, it does. So I kind of don't like that either. So maybe that 0 minus rect size. Maybe all the zeros should be 0 minus rect size instead. Now, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Now, all of those are little details. They don't really affect the way anything's working, but sometimes those details, getting those details right makes you happy. Um, anyway, that's it. We were just learning how to wrap this for like wrap the left edge of the screen to the right edge and the top to the bottom. And we did. So we're done. What else could you do? Well, according to the notes here, you could make at least one other change visually. So you could change it to, oval, you could change it colors, make it bigger, smaller, that kind of thing. Whatever you really want to do. So like maybe we can just change this to um, draw oval and maybe not white, maybe do green. So now we have a circle and the circle can wrap left and right, top and bottom. Whatever. Doesn't matter too much. Just playing around. All right. So that's going to be it for this lab. You just have to turn in the main.java to the Canvas assignment. No screenshot is necessary. That's it for this lab. I'll talk to you guys later.